Scorpio, welcome back. This is Crow Indigo Intuitive Tarot, and this is your January 2020 read. Can you believe it? January 2020. We're asking some general questions today. Well, maybe not so general. It's a general reading. It's not going to resonate for all of you. So if it doesn't, don't try to force the fit, okay? It's for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising placements. And we're asking some questions. The first one is, what gifts does January have for us, Scorpio? The second question is, what are we leaving behind in 2019? What has served its purpose? What is it time to move on from? Third question is, what lies ahead? So this could be starting in January. It could be for the whole year of 2020. It could be for years beyond 2020. But I want to say, super important here, if it does resonate for you, right? So we already talked about if it doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force that fit. If it does resonate for you, I also want to point out, whenever I read for future, that nothing is written in stone. So if you don't like the path that is lying out here that we're starting to see, you can always make different choices, and that will shift your timeline. That will shift your path. Okay? Let's see what we have for you, Scorpio. There's some passionate energy coming in your direction. It feels like you had to make a choice. You had a lot of options, a lot of possible paths that you could go on here, and you've chosen one. And in that choice, you've called to you this really passionate spark, this really inspiring energy is headed your way because of the fact that you have carefully chosen and you've stepped off onto your new path, Scorpio. So if you were having any misgivings about whether or not you should have made the choice, whether or not you should have gone and what's the word? Not precluded. Gone and like sort of shut the door on certain opportunities in order to follow another, it was the right choice, absolutely, because you've got now a very strong, warm fire in your belly, this really supportive, creative energy coming in your direction. You also have the gift now of planning for your future. Something about the choice you made has put you in a space where you can really make some very useful decisions about the path forward from here. Now that you've done away with a few of the options you had, you've really clarified for yourself which direction you're going in, and you've given yourself a window of space in which you have the resources and the time and the focus to make a plan to move you forward. You also have the gift in January of some healing. If there was some grief involved in making the choices that you've made in the past, you're starting to heal from that. You're potentially coming out of a space where there was a really deep hurt. And I'm not saying that it's going away entirely, and always the lessons will be with you from that pain, but you're not actively hurting now, moving into January and toward the end of January especially. That pain is subsiding significantly. What are you leaving behind? What's being left behind these are things that from 2019 that can just stay. They can just stay in 2019. If there are good things here, which many times there are, it just means that that season has ended, that focus on these particular qualities or energies isn't so essential anymore, Scorpio. So this is a really discerning energy here with the Queen of Swords, very focused on the truth, the capital T, truth, very analytical, a little bit cutting sometimes in their honesty, in the direction. If it's a person, if it's an energy that you have embodied, maybe you've been a bit short with people. You were just not terribly empathetic, just very focused on the facts, very focused on the reasoning and the thought, the analytical discussion around topics, really not emotional, more logic based, Scorpio, and that may have been difficult for some people, but it was what you needed at the time. It's where you needed to be in order to make the decisions so that you could move forward. You needed to consider all of those facts and figures and kind of reason your way through to your choice. There may have been a bit of bad luck for you last year. Things just not quite working out for you when there really wasn't a reason why. You tried hard, you put in the time and the effort, and things just didn't go your way. That's something you're leaving behind now, though. You may have been stuck in a spot where you had a lot of responsibilities. You were trying to keep all the balls in the air there, and you had to make some choices about whether to go on supporting other people or take care of yourself. And you may have chosen to take care of yourself. And that was never going to be the wrong choice there, I have to say. That sort of tension of trying to make everyone happy, that's something you're leaving behind now. I do want to say, as I'm reading here, I forgot to mention at the beginning, I've been called recently to speak more intuitively in my readings. So there still are Rider-Waite interpretations. I'm not ever going to get away from that, but you may find in some cases my interpretations vary from those that you hear with folks that are interpreting purely by Rider-Waite, because I'm sharing with you the mental imagery, the thoughts that are coming into my head as I'm viewing these pictures, the messages that I interpret to be from Spirit. So if it seems a little bit off your standard interpretations on these cards, that's why. What's coming toward you? So, as a general rule, so far today, all of these what's coming toward you have been positive. And in some cases, there's been a little bit of tension here and there. Yours is no different. You are starting to see progress. You're starting to see the fruits of your labors. You're starting to see where you've planted seeds. They are growing. They're not ready to harvest, but they're there and they're coming along nicely. And you are also, in the coming months, the year ahead, releasing yourself from sort of a self-made restriction. You've been holding yourself back from something, very much wanting to be free, but not letting yourself. No one else was holding you back, just you. This could relate to anything. It could relate to this pursuit where you're starting to see some progress. It could relate to a relationship. Maybe you wanted a connection with someone and you were overthinking it, extremely overthinking it, to the point that you were trapping yourself and keeping yourself away from it. You're being freed from that now. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you've had a crush on someone and you haven't told them, and now you tell them that everything's going to work out great. I don't want to give you that false hope, but I do want you to know that you are moving into a space where you're going to be free from the overthinking. So either you do finally get up the nerve and you have that conversation, or you and this other person already know you want to be together, but there are some constrictions and there are some things in your way. Those start to clear up now. Or you both decide that it's not something you want to pursue. It could go either way there. I just have to be honest about that. This King of Cups in reverse tells me that it's not all about platonic love for you right now. The King of Cups energy, for me, it's this very unconditional love. It's very supportive. It wraps around you. It is not roller coaster love. I've said that before. It's just this very solid, supportive love, and it's not necessarily deeply romantic. It might not be passionate, but it is reliable and solid, and in many cases unconditional. And so when it's reversed like this, I feel like that's not the love energy that you're in moving forward. That you may have some challenges with being asked to love unconditionally. It may be an ongoing issue for you. I was thinking recently, writing about the concept of whether love must be earned. And it's a really big question in my mind. And it's sort of what is coming to mind for me when I see the King of Cups in reverse in this particular artwork. This king is very content in the upright. Very content, just is love, right? Doesn't love, is love. And I often wonder, obviously as children, I think the concept stands that you don't have to earn love. You should never need to earn love from the people that are taking care of you. But as an adult, does that still remain true for you? Do you have to earn love? Or is it truly unconditional? Is love given or is it earned? And it's a very interesting question if you think about it. And it would be interesting for you, given this King of Cups in reverse, to contemplate that question. I don't have an answer for you. I'm still working that out. I'm still working through the pros and cons and the various angles and all of that. Love to have your feedback if you have a theory on that question. To be honest, it seems to be a big part of your moving forward in 2020 and maybe beyond. Excuse me. When you've freed yourself from the overthinking, when you see that your financial security, your connection to your soul purpose is developing nicely, and your mental bandwidth is freed up to think about what you want from love, whether or not you believe that unconditional love exists, it would be interesting to see where this all goes for you. How does it change your existing relationships? Does it make you redefine your connection to other people that you have presently or that you've had in the past? These are all very interesting questions, and there seem to be a theme for you to be addressing as we move into the new year, Scorpio, where you have the freedom to put a little bit of bandwidth, take it from mere survival and put it toward contemplation of bigger questions. It could be some interesting outcomes. Going to clarify January gifts for you. There is a sense that these gifts are a reward for the efforts you've done in your life, for the karmic debt that you have paid, that you are now able to move forward because your accounts are clear. You have a fresh new beginning here, to some extent, taking a leap of faith as you move forward and you make these plans. There is one little piece missing from completion for you, and you'll know better than I do what that might be. But as you've made this choice and you've set off on your path, drawing to you this passionate, creative energy, there's one little piece left to be resolved. Not quite done yet, is what I'm hearing. With regard to what you're leaving behind in 2019, are there any further clarifications there, Spirit? Yeah. Oh. Yes, these two. So there's a new opportunity being born out of your efforts, out of what has come before and is being left in 2019. You have a lot of resilience. Something that you have been through has made you really, really a strong fighter. And where you may have felt put upon, that you had to defend your position on something, you didn't really feel like there were a lot of people there with you. I think you're okay with that. I don't think you mind being the sole defender. I don't think you mind being the leader. You know that there's opportunity in being a leader, in standing when others sit, in defending what needs to be defended when others refuse to take the risk. There's an opportunity there being born out of the efforts and the skills that were strengthened in you by the challenges of 2019. What about what's coming ahead? What do we have there? Yeah, you've got some challenges around a soul connection. Could be a lover, could be a friend. There's some challenges there, really, and that has a lot to do with you freeing yourself from overthinking, you contemplating these questions of unconditional love. What is unconditional love, and do I have to earn it? You have a little bit of a tendency to focus on the past and what has been left behind when really there is a, you're better served to turn and look toward your future. I just got a weird feeling in my foot there. It's really a strong urge that Spirit wants you to turn around, wants you to look at the opportunities that remain, wants you to embrace this Queen of Wands energy. This person here, this entity on the throne, very, very confident in its creative ability. Its mastery, to some extent, over creation goes very well with the Seven of Pentacles. It's a reassurance that yes, you're creating your life the way you want it to be, Scorpio, but it's going to take a little time. And you may spend a fair amount of time in 2020, perhaps beyond, really freeing yourself from these notions that aren't yours, ideas that have been given to you by other people, and you've started to treat them like the truth, but they're not. They're someone's opinion. Parents, a lot of times we take what our parents tell us and we think that it's true, when in fact it's just their take on things. You still have some work to do there. And that soul connection could be, a romantic or a friendship or a family member. It doesn't have to be a lover. But there is the opportunity for true union. But it's really, really tied up with this idea of whether or not you have to earn love. It's a really interesting reading. Do we have any duplicates anywhere? I don't think we did. I don't think we had any duplicates. I'm going to pull a Dragon Oracle card for you, Scorpio. Just get a little further guidance from Spirit. And then we will finish off with a Wild Unknown Animal Spirit card. You have, let's see, the White Gold Dragon. White Gold Dragon from Lyra. Connects you to the highest Christ light. Develop your causal chakra. Develop your causal chakra. Bathe in ninth dimension Christ light. Now, don't let the use of the word Christ put you off if you don't happen to be Christian. It's that higher divine light and love that wrap around you and support you. The highest kind, apparently. You are connecting to it now. Your causal chakra, I'm not sure. I have to admit my ignorance here. Your causal chakra, it may mean your solar plexus, the orange chakra, which is very much attuned to creativity, which we've been talking about here. And I don't know what ninth dimensional Christ light is either, but it's a very high level of connection with the divine. I'm going to didn't pull the card yet. Pull one last card for you. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. You have the Whale. And we'll take a look at that. Water element. Desire to delve deeper. profound peace, ancient wisdom. Oh, I've gotten the hiccups. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost, and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. When in balance, this is calm, steady, deeply compassionate energy. When out of balance, it's heavy and it slips into its old story. To bring it into balance, you should employ regular self-care. So you always have been the dependable one that took care, and now you're taking care of yourself. You want to dive deeper. You want to understand these bigger questions. You want to use the strength and the skills you've developed over time to really let you go to that next level. There's a lot of that in the readings for this month, that, the desire to use creativity to tap into deeper levels of knowing and level up. And I think that it's no different for you. You've gone through a fair amount here. You finally have taken up your choice, and that's really good. You're healing, you're moving forward, your efforts are bearing fruit. You're not entirely out of the woods here on this big question of emotional connection and unconditional love, but overall you're moving in the right direction, Scorpio. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. It is always my pleasure to do so. Thank you for supporting the channel with all your likes, shares, and subscribes. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And I would love to have your feedback if this resonates for you, if this sounds like a set of issues that you're moving through and dealing with. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you so much again, and I wish you a great January and a fantastic 2020, and we'll see you next time. Blessings.